It is a beautiful sunny day on Wilson Field here in Orange County. Contrary to the weather we've been getting recently here with the rain and cloudy weather, we have a beautiful sunny day for some lacrosse as the Chapman Panthers will take on the UCLA Bruins, a matchup you won't see often for the Chapman Panthers as we get ready for the men's lacrosse matchup. I'm Alejandro Flores here with my partner, Brianna Tovar. How are you doing, Brianna?
I'm doing so well today. Thank you, Alejandro. I'm very excited to see this game. You don't often see matches like this with Chapman and UCLA, so
Yes.
very excited.
No, a very exciting matchup. Now, a reason for what could be this matchup is the fact that the Chapman Panthers men's lacrosse team is a self-funded club team. So a lot of the players and coaches go into funding this team themselves. So, of course, any donations would be very much appreciated for this team. You can use the QR code there on the screen below. Use your phone to scan it. If you feel like donating, any donations are very much appreciated as they go into travel expenses, gear, equipment, and just overall the experience for these Chapman athletes. So anyone who's a fan of the team, who's a family member, who's a friend, any donations would be very much appreciated. Now, we can get over to the game, and the matchup that we previously mentioned a little bit earlier was, of course, Chapman versus UCLA. So, these two teams are very contrasting right now in record. Chapman Panthers at 10-2 on the year, and their last win came in a neck-to-neck battle with USC at 12-11, where they won that game. UCLA, on the other hand, coming off a rough loss from 7-18.
Right.
Recently.
And also overall, they just haven't had the most ideal season with 8 losses and 2 wins overall. So this could be an opportunity for them to just have another win under their belt. And also, even if not, just for them to grow in their skills and camaraderie and just to get closer as a team.
Definitely a UCLA team we're going to be watching is very motivated to get this win on the board, especially after that last loss. So we will be seeing a UCLA team come out with a little bit more fire and a little bit more energy compared to a Chapman team who's been having a very successful season. So we're going to have to see how both teams come out early. It's going to be very, very early on in this game will tell us how this game is going to go as we transition to the key players for the Chapman Panthers who will be making a difference in this game.
Right. Clearly, as we've seen, they've been doing fairly well. And we're going to go ahead and toss to those key players that have been helping us out. So,
yes. Have to mention the
first,
intros.
I know, they're wonderful. Number 14, an attackman, Liam Nelson. He's doing, we love it. There he is, getting ready. FO record of 48-33. Sorry. Pardon us, that's incorrect stats. There we go. Liam Nelson with 22 goals and 12 assists. As well as 20 ground balls. So he's clearly been a very key player, as you mentioned,
yes,
to this team.
Key to the offensive side, especially those 20 ground balls for the Chapman Panthers. Those are those 50-50 balls that go around in lacrosse, and whoever wins those can end up winning the match.
Right, and then we're going to go ahead and move on to number 21, William.
Let's see what he does here.
There, William Curtis. Oh my goodness. William Curtis.
Looking like Justin Jefferson.
With an FO record of 48-33, 64% on the dot as well, with 27 ground balls, so even more critical. There he is getting ready again.
We had a little bit of a spoiler for his stats early on when we put those on earlier, but yes. So what is really great is that face-off record at 48-33. And those are those face-offs that happen right there in the center of the field, and whoever wins those gets the first possession of whether it be after a goal or at the start of a quarter.
Right.
So that's just a very important stat to mention.
Very critical.
As we transition to the third.
And then we're going to move over to number 3. Goalie, multi-talented clearly, Jason Bollinger.
Party trick right there.
With SPG of 12, a save percentage of 0.585, and then 72 saves. So he's clearly just been he's a brick wall.
Yes. The important factor is the fact that this Chapman's Panthers defense is so impressive this year, you know, being able to not let games go into shootouts. And that's a big reason why 72 saves on the year. is very impressive. Now we go to the other side, which is the UCLA Bruins. And these are going to be the 3 players that are going to have the most impact in hopefully getting their next win on the year. This is David Mastro, who's going to be up first for the UCLA Bruins. He's a very high offensive player for the Bruins with 20 goals on the season, as well as 10 assists and then 3 goals per game.
Clearly,
so very important.
Very critical.
So that's gonna be a very important player to look for as he's playing in the attacker formation. So he's gonna be up front and a lot of center action with the UCLA offense. As we transition to the second player of the game, another attacker for the Bruins. This is Mac Eisler. So again, we talked about how UCLA, very offensive team this team is. So these 2 players are a huge reason why as we go to Max, who has 11 goals on the season, 5 assists, and 1.8 goals per game. He's going to be a very interesting player to keep an eye on in this game as we will transition to the third player of the game.
There he's getting ready.
Yes, as he's starting to get his warm-up going as we transition to number 5. This is the midfielder for UCLA, Hayden Lechner. Hayden, a very important player for UCLA. Now this again, we talked about UCLA being a huge offensive team. This is where the defense comes in, and Hayden with 67 saves on the year, as well as a .523 save percentage and 11.17 saves per game. So a very important player for this UCLA Bruins defense, who, depending on where this game goes, we might see a little bit more of him, or we might see a little bit more of the attackers on the other side as well. Right. But these are the players to look out for on both sides as they can make a huge impact on the game. Now we should go over the overall standings for both of these teams as well, as this conference is loaded with a lot of great teams, and this game has a lot of implications on those records. So
to start, we're going to look at UCLA. Again, not doing the best thus far with a win-loss record of 3-8. So again, an opportunity for them to just get some more experience under the belt and maybe a win as well. And then also looking at Chapman with quite a contrasting 10-2. So which also kind of puts them aligned with San Diego State, if you want to talk more about that.
So again, that's a big record, that conference record at 3-0 and 3-0 for San Diego State and Chapman. Those are the 2 rivals right now at the top of this conference, also with the best records. I mean, might we add, Chapman does have more games played than San Diego State, but San Diego State so far undefeated on the season at 7-0. So San Diego State, we might mention, is a team that's had a lot of name in the college world, you know, also having that Final Four appearance. But Chapman looking to take away their lacrosse title at the moment, where they stand at top of the division. So we will transition now to Joshua Feinhurst, who's down at the sidelines for an interview.
All right, hello everybody, and welcome to Chapman Men's Lacrosse here at Wilson Field in Orange, California. I will be your sideline reporter for the Chapman Panthers versus the UCLA Bruins. Joshua Feinhurst here today. Chapman versus UCLA, not something you really see for Chapman, but in lacrosse, Chapman is a D1 club sport. And today, Coach Joel was telling me the UCLA attack was the big thing to worry about, with number 12 and number 19 being his key pieces to think about there, as he was saying that we need to play a tough physical defense in order to pull this one out. And Jason Bollinger in goal, going to need to have a monster game. I hope we all have a great game and viewing experience here on CSBN. Back to you, Alejandro and Brianna, at the desk.
Thank you, Joshua. Great analysis. I also have to say I love the sunglasses out there. It's especially necessary with the way the sun is beaming out there. Right. So it's good to have a perfect weather game for a game of lacrosse.
Right, and I think as well for the previous game the women's team just played, they had a wonderful day out. Very warm, perhaps a little too warm.
Yes.
But again, like you said earlier, great compared to all the rainy weather we've had. So hopefully this kind of puts some motivation in both teams and allows for just a more intense game.
Yep, and one thing we have to mention about the Chapman Panthers is team camaraderie with these guys. You'll see a lot of the celebrations and you'll see a lot of traditions that this team keeps together. That's how they stay so tight and bonded through their trips. As we will transition to the national anthem that's coming up very soon. As you can see, UCLA right now in the huddle right now as they start to get motivated, start to get pumped up. This is a team right now looking for the big 4th win of the year. and a necessary one. The Chapman Panthers already lined up and ready for the national anthem. They already have the motivation that they need. They are ready to go. Everyone's starting to take off their helmets and get ready, get lined up. But again, as we mentioned, that team camaraderie from the Chapman Panthers is the huge factor as to why this team is so good. They just understand each other so well, and it's a team that's a much bigger size in the roster, so they are able to have substitutes that come in.
Right.
As we move to the national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, the time is 4:30. It is game time.
Ready, this should be a very exciting matchup. Again, the Chapman Panthers versus the UCLA Bruins. The Chapman Panthers with a chance to really put Chapman on the map.
Right, and then as well, maybe even a little bit of an opportunity for UCLA. As we've seen, they haven't had the most ideal of a season, so just giving them an opportunity to, again, maybe get a win under their belt or just gain some more experience as well. See them getting ready. Chapman.
Again, so that's what makes this matchup so interesting. That's what makes this matchup so interesting is the fact that you're going to be getting a UCLA team that is just extremely motivated.
Right.
You know, ready to get that 4th win of the year. And again, it is a tough matchup, but it doesn't look like they're intimidated whatsoever. This UCLA team ready to get going with the matchup as we get ready for the face-off as both teams head out to the midfield.
Beginning to line up. Oh my goodness. And then, yeah, just already seeing that difference in difference in everything.
Well, you see, and then again, as we mentioned before, seeing that difference in team sizes. If you would see the benches, it's right now UCLA, it's much smaller than Chapman. And that's what Chapman loves about their team. You know, talking with the players, they talked about how much they loved having players that can sub in at any moment and that can do a great job as well. It's not just having a big bench that is great for that team, but it's the fact that every single guy on that bench is able to make an impact.
Right.
And able to do an incredible job subbing in.
Right.
As you can see the UCLA coach right now on his side getting ready. Both teams have touched gloves, setting up on both sides.
Getting ready to begin the game.
Now, anyone who doesn't know lacrosse, again, it's 3 attackers, 3 mid, 3 defenders, and 1 goalie. So you can see it on both sides right now. You have 3 Chapman Panthers who are on the UCLA side. You have 3 right down in the middle. 3 back on the defense as we have the face-off. And again, the Chapman Panthers win another face-off.
Have possession of the ball. Number 9.
Cooper, and that's a toss that's going to go way out of control.
Out of bounds. There it is.
So a bit of a rough start so far for the Panthers. They try to play very aggressive down the field. But UCLA will do the throw-in. Here it is. He's just going to get it right to the goalie, who's going to toss it across to the other side as well. Jack Wyatt running down the right side of the field, tosses it to the middle. And he loses it. This is what these ground balls that we were talking about. The Chapman Panthers very good at winning these, and they do. The Chapman Panthers, as he tries to check him right there. Oh, good toss and a good catch on both sides.
Cradling it all the way. Oh, maybe not. Trying to figure out what to do next.
Ursino is going to pass it back. And we do have a sub-in already. Again, the advantage of the Chapman Panthers being able to have these sub-ins. And moving in already. This is Dante. who's moving with it. Tries to put a little bit of a move on. He's going to
Cradle,
move straight
cradle.
to the goal. He's going to try to take a shot, and he does not get it. A good save by the Bruins as they move down to the right side. Kind of put in a little bit of a box.
Right, trying to cradle wherever he can think. Oh, he's not. Oh, goodness.
He's staying with it, though, and he's moving down the whole sideline. This is a defender moving up all the way into the front end. Tosses it. This ball is going to go to the ground. Picked up by the Bruins. This is lost. Recovered by Chapman. This is Jack Worth who tossed it back to the goalie, Bollinger, who we mentioned, one of our players of the game.
22, cradling it as far as he can manage, and then trying to figure out where to go next.
Again, being very patient as well, just trying to have people set up. And these check-ins for Lacrosse happen very quickly. You can miss them in some moments as well. But here we go again. They are setting up in position. UCLA back a little bit on defense. Very aggressive on the Panthers. Here he goes, trying to find a move, trying to take a shot on goal and cannot get it. That was Luke Morissette who was attempting the shot there. Recovered the ground ball by the Chapman Panthers. This is Liam Nelson now moving down to the right end.
One of our key players that we mentioned earlier.
Yes, again, a huge offensive weapon. Now they're setting up behind the goal, trying to see if they can get a little bit of positioning. Jackson Wells is trying to see if he could sneak it around. Cannot.
Not likely.
Good little check by the Bruins as well. He tried to get a shot off and he could not. Another save by the Bruins. Having himself a game right now, Mikey, the DeReer. Doing a good job. He's trying to check him over there. Again, lacrosse, a very physical sport. That one's tossed up. Recovered by the Bruins, moving to the middle of the field. A good toss. Here it is. The UCLA Bruins are going to have a shot attempt possibly.
Number 3 cradling it behind.
That was
the X now.
David Mastro with the pass. Again, one of the key players to look out for the Bruins on that offensive side. Kind of put in a bind. Has to toss it back, and UCLA resets a little bit at the 40. And he gets
Now,
it.
number 29 in possession. This is...
And Bryce Long will pass it over to the left side. The Bruins right now just trying to find a way to slip by this Panthers defense. Cannot. He is getting checked by both guys. He's getting put in a bind. Tosses it back behind the goal. Good passing from the Bruins, though. He's trying to keep it in possession. This is going to be a shot on goal, and it will be to no avail. A good stop by the Panthers defense.
Both teams are making sure they're motivated, they're aggressive, and they're doing a good job so far.
And the Panthers now looking to switch it, get their offensive side going in. And we have a couple sub-ins for the Panthers. One worth mentioning, Joshua Volmund, who does have the ball in his possession. Moving down the middle, trying to find an angle. Good passing right now from the Panthers, just unable to capitalize. He tried to send that one, and it just goes high over the goal. Luckily, they have a couple of spare balls right there in the back of the net. Chapman recovers. Oh, he falls to the ground. He's able to pick it up, though. Very impressive balance by Jackson Wells to be able to get up quickly and to recover that. Liam Nelson now moving down the right side. Liam Nelson cannot.
And the UCLA goalie is really making sure that Chapman can't score and really making sure that they have a chance here.
Keeping UCLA in this game, as you just mentioned, yes. And here we go already. UCLA now playing a lot on the Panthers side so far early in this game. This is Mastro. Again, a huge key player that we talked about for the Bruins. That was Kuffner who tossed that one. And it goes back to Kuffner. But the 40, he's moving down to the middle. Now he's getting checked a little bit. Kuffner is going to toss it back behind the goal, just trying to find those angles.
Really utilizing that space of the X, which some teams just ignore.
Sends that one into the goal, and the Bruins are going to be the first on the board.
An unlikely event, but clearly they're defying expectations this far.
Again, we talked about the motivation of the Bruins, and so far,
UCLA clearly came to play with, again, all that motivation.
UCLA first on the board, an impressive shot. As he does a little bit of a celebration. Now Chapman working from behind. Something that it's rarely this team has gone through is playing from behind.
Right.
So a bit of a new experience for the Panthers as they win another face-off, it appears. They do not. It was all over the place. It ended up going to the Bruins. Now UCLA just trying to work around, again, trying to find those lanes. This is Mastro with great speed down the left side. Who's going to toss it right back to the middle? And Mastro. Here he is moving around. Again, worth mentioning, Max Eisler was the one who did get the goal for the Bruins. Again, one of our other key players. So I'm already making an impact. That one's going to go out of bounds.
Shot goal 29 for the Bruins, Matt Anderson.
That was Matthew Anderson who attempted that shot on goal. Bruins doing a very good job of just passing around. He tried to fire that one up into the top left and could not.
Right over the goal.
Right over, just tried. Put a little bit too much power on that one.
And where is it?
As we have a bit of discussion and setup from both teams. As the shot clock will reset. Never mind, it's actually going back to 22 on the shot clock. It's a lot going on at the moment, as well as the Bruins also trying to score. Here we go, moving to the left side, quick. David takes a shot on goal, could not.
And out of bounds.
Out of bounds. And now the possession will go to the Chapman Panthers, as we have a couple subs running in for the Panthers as well. Jack Worth is one.
Both teams exhibiting so much speed.
And the Chapman Panthers trying to recover the ground ball. Cannot. Oh, it just keeps going around and around, and someone finally picks it up. Jackson Stephen picks it up for the Panthers. And now Chapman looking to finally get some shots on goal. They've definitely had less in this game than UCLA early in this one.
Right.
Here we go. Working from the top. Luke Morstedt. He takes a shot on goal. Oh, and it almost bounced in off of the initial bat down by the goalie. UCLA, though, recovers.
Trying to check.
Oh, he fumbles it for a second, but then he's able to recover and toss it. Now working down the middle. He's going to take a shot on goal, and it goes too high. That was Hayden
UCLA
Lechner.
is going for it this round. I think definitely getting that experience in and trying to get that win. I know they really need it.
As he sends this one down the middle. Again, Chapman just trying to find those lanes. They haven't really had too many great shots on goal at the moment. This is Hayden with the ball. Hayden moving, able to fight through the contact. Hayden's just going to send it behind the goal now to Charlie Bland. Charlie Bland who sends it. And now working with it. Shane gets the shot, and Shane gets the goal. The Chapman Panthers tie this game.
The kid out of Colorado, the pride of Colorado, 22, Jack Wood.
Did that celebration on the field from the Panthers.
That was Jack Worth, the kid out of Colorado, who was able to get that shot. What a play. The Chapman Panthers even up this game. We are tied in this first quarter. Here we go again with the face-off. Again, these face-offs very much, lacrosse very similar in many aspects to other sports. Oh, taking a stumble there. He gets up though. UCLA already working on the Panthers side again, winning that possession time at the moment. David Mastro. He has 20 goals on the season. He tried to get another there, could not. Mastro, just a little too low, a bounce in front of the goal.
Panthers passing to possession, cradling it to the other side of the field now. Bruins side.
Charles Beasley with the ball right now for the Panthers. As both teams take a rest, just kind of moving around, trying to figure things out. This is Elijah Brugman. He tosses this one. A shot on goal. No good.
Over and far out of bounds.
Josh
My goodness.
Roman. Little too much on it. A little too much sugar and spice.
Using that space in the X to their advantage, trying to cradle it around. Oh, UCLA is not letting it happen.
This is Luke Morstedt, again, who was working with that over there, trying to find an angle. Here we go,
Going
working through,
Another
and a
goal.
shot on goal. The Chapman Panthers take the lead. What a shot by Elijah.
Celebration down there. Took a little while for them to get, I think at this point, seeing how long it took to get to 1-1, and now we're up by 1. It's painting a picture of how this game might look. UCLA is clearly very motivated and aggressive. Both teams trying to make goals consistently, not hesitating at all.
Yes. I think the Chapman Panthers might have their swagger back in this game as they take the 2-1 lead. And then
Fumbles the
UCLA,
stick.
very uncharacteristically for the Chapman Panthers, losing another face-off.
And cradling it to the Panthers side once again, trying to go for a goal, and unfortunately goes over and out of bounds.
Could not. Over the head as they reset the play clock, giving it to the goalie, who is a bit of a miscue on the tosses.
Passing it to number 10.
Good passes overall from the Chapman Panthers as they move it quick down the Bruins side of the field, and now reset kind of at the midpoint as they wait for players to get into position. That was Jack Worth who tossed that one over to Dante. Jack Worth now trying to put a move on and can not get past him. He'll just toss it to Dante, who tosses it behind the goal. Puts a little bit of a move on, trying to shake him and bake him. Cannot. Moving now at the 30. Back to the 25. It looked like it was going to be a shot on goal. It's really just a pass. And the Panthers kind of tries to pass it to the middle. A shot on goal could not work.
Wow. I noticed they use a lot of that space in the X. At least they tried to their advantage, and UCLA is just not letting it happen. Very strong on offense there.
Great job by the Bruins, keeping this game within reach, not letting it get out of hand early. Oh, good little spin move. Who's moving down? It's Max Eisler, who had a goal previously for the Bruins. Resetting at the top. Moving around. That's Matthew Anderson who tossed it. David Mastro now. Oh, trying to find his way around the edge, but good bumping from the Chapman Panthers defense.
Cradling
Great defense. That was Nicholas Griffin's. A shot on goal and a shot that is scored for the Bruins. They tie this game.
From, I believe, Max Eisler.
His second goal of the game.
I have to admit, I am quite surprised at how well they've been able to keep up so far. Both teams are not letting themselves, and just doing the best they can, and very consistent and not hesitant. Maybe we can see if that changes for the face-off again.
And this time, it will go to the Panthers. They win the possession, sending it across the field. Good toss down the way. Little high almost, but Dylan was able to pull it down. And the Panthers are resetting now in a tie game. Number 26, Elijah Brugman, who's in, as well as Josh Voman. Gives it to Elijah. Elijah moving down the right side, sends it back up top. He's looking to take a shot. He might here. Oh, it's a good pass, and it's a good shot. The Chapman Panthers. That is Charles Beasley with the shot for the Chapman Panthers.
Doing
What a
so,
pass.
making sure they're keeping up with the UCLA.
Luke Morissette with the assist as well. It was an incredible pass into the middle. It looked like it was going to be a shot on goal. Faked it, passed to the middle, and then a good finish at the end. Taking the contact with it as well, and one, as you could say. And the possession will go to the Bruins on the face-off. Sub in for the Panthers.
The players have just really been unselfish and making sure that they're using their opportunities to pass to their advantage and making sure they're maintaining that camaraderie.
It's a good toss to the top, and they're moving it around. The Bruins, here we go. Moving back into the Panthers territory.
Spending a lot of time here.
Tries to box him, cannot. This is going to be a shot on goal, but an even better save from the Panthers. That was 3 versus 3 there. David Mastro going up against the goalie, as we previously mentioned, for the Chapman Panthers. Bollinger.
Number 10.
Now the Panthers, they do only have 30 seconds left on the clock. And we have a flag down on the field. And the Chapman Panthers now with time running down. We go to the final 20 seconds. Moving to the right side, setting up in the middle. Gets a shot in just before the quarter ends. Oh my, what a shot down the middle. Liam Nelson.
See that celebration down there.
And the flag is cleared as well. That was tossed at the midfield. That stops the clock at 17 seconds. Now you'd have to wonder if UCLA is going to try to attempt another miracle here with 17 seconds. But Chapman with some great hurry-up offense with only 1 minute left, able to get that last goal. And we get ready for the face-off. You have to wonder if Chapman wins this, are they going to play a little bit more conservative and just let the clock run? Win it, they do,
possession.
but they're still trying to at least. It's just more of a ground ball that's picked up by the Panthers. They might get one more shot attempt here. Tossing across, to no avail. Oh, and a shove there at the end. It's just a little love tap from both sides. And that's going to end the first quarter with the Chapman Panthers leading 4-2 against the UCLA Bruins. 4 goals from the Panthers there after the UCLA's quick start at 1-0, and then it ended up being tied 2-2 for a good minute.
And then it seemed as if UCLA would have to keep up with Chapman, but it seems like UCLA is really putting up a fight, and Chapman's really having to match that this game. So very interesting start. Hopefully we'll see how that pans out as the quarters progress, as their energy depletes.
So again, and as you mentioned, this UCLA team that's very motivated, very enthusiastic right now to try to get that 4th win of the season. They came out aggressive early on, and we did mention how that's going to be a show of how this game is going to be. And UCLA's aggression is showing that this game won't be a walkthrough for the Chapman Panthers, as they're going to have to fight through this one, but fought they did, fighting some adversity, down 1-0 early in the game, and then coming back to take the lead 4-2 after previously being tied 2-2 for the majority of the quarter, getting those last 2 goals within the last few minutes of that quarter.
Right, and then really taking advantage of the abundance of players they have. really making sure they're passing and not being unselfish and in their passing, and just making sure that everyone is helping out.
As both teams are huddling up, getting some much needed water, Gatorade, whatever they may need. We're going down into the final 30 seconds of this quarter break. As you can see, the coach is kind of going over a little bit of a strategy. Again, and as you watch probably, lacrosse is a very strategic game. A lot of patience required in this sport. As you can see, a lot of resetting at the top, very much like soccer in a sense, with how they try to just find a way to sneak through and find a lane in the defense. It could be a lot of negative or moving back before actually having to move forward per se, you know?
Right, it's very strategic and very much a full contact sport. Both teams not being afraid to try and check their opponent's balls, or just really trying to gain that possession.
As you saw earlier too, the Chapman Panthers, it's a very filled out crowd here in Orange County. The lacrosse team very popular amongst the Panthers. And we get ready for the face-off of the second quarter. That'll go into the possession of the Panthers. That's Cooper. Cooper moving quick down the field.
Running it to the Bruins side, and
we have a call on the field. Ref saying something to him. We don't have the official word yet. The ref just wants the game to slow down so he can catch up real quick. As he has to talk to the table. Couple sub-ins already for the Chapman Panthers. Very quick into the quarter. A little bit of confusion at the moment. He's still holding for time.
Trying to control the tempo of the game, and a reasonable request from the ref, considering how quickly these players move. It can be difficult to keep up.
And he's going to reset the shot clock to 70, it appears. Maybe with some clock issues, malfunctions there on the board. But at the moment, as we talk about it, the Chapman Panthers already winning that face-off, now going to be set up in a good position. Already on the offensive side, hoping to extend that to a 3-score lead. Still a bit of confusion, and we are good to go. Now we'll get started here with the second quarter. This is in the hands of Luke Morissette, who's moving around the end.
Heating up the game once more.
Luke already with a great assist. He takes a shot on goal there.
Shot on goal 42.
To no avail. And now we have another time. As the coach is having a talk with the ref, on the Bruins side at the moment at midfield.
We gotta figure it out now. Here we go.
It looks like both sides have an understanding.
Bit of a stall.
The ref and the coach are just wondering where they want to go out to eat later. Oh, a toss straight into the hands of the Bruins.
Bruins goalkeeper Silver, 5 taps with the save.
Good save by the Bruins, and they're tossing
Attempted
this one.
interception. Couldn't manage.
Yeah, the Chapman's playing very aggressive on defense right now. Putting him in a box. Check him at the 40. He's able to spin around and find room. That was Nathaniel Kuffner who was moving around for the Bruins. Now resets to David Mastro. Mastro, the Bruins' leading scorer. And he continues as the leading scorer with another score on the board, and UCLA is able to make the score 4-3, coming within 1.
Wow, this team really isn't slowing down.
Mastro, a little bit of a bounce ball right there.
I see that celebration in the replay. Clearly they've been preparing for this game, and you can see them just celebrating.
It was a great play by
Down to the
Mastro, and
face-off.
it looks like a bit of a false start on the face-off. So we'll give Chapman Panthers possession, and they're moving it around. A lot of sub-ins for the Panthers. The biggest difference right now is having those fresh legs in. As Charles Beasley was tossing that one over to Luke Morissette, whose name we've talked about a lot.
In the Bruins territory, but seems trying to find that lane.
That was Brugman's pass to Charles Beasley. Charles Beasley resets it to Luke Morissette. Luke to the right side, a shot on goal, cannot get it. That was a shot on goal as well, and it will not go. Liam Nelson with the shot there. But the Chapman Panthers win the ground ball. And a whistle by the refs.
The goalie's really just been a brick wall, not letting any balls go in or pass. Doing really well to make sure UCLA has their chance here.
And Luke Morissette is moving at the 20. Making great eye contact with the enemy there, trying to see if he can put a move on. Oh, we have a foul call, and the possession is going to go to the Bruins. The flag is on the field. And it will go into the hands of the Bruins, resetting them. They're in Panther territory.
42 is going to come in. Think about it for 30 seconds.
So Luke Morissette is subbing out. Nicholas Ursino subs in for the Panthers. And the Bruins have possession, looking to tie the game early in the second. And they do so! The Bruins, we are tied! David Mastro again!
I'm honestly shocked. They are making sure that they are giving themselves a chance here. They're really making sure they're keeping up with Chapman, and Chapman's having to match that. So wow.
Mastro with a great play and then a cool walk-off. Celebrates with his team. He is having himself a game, from impacts on assists to 2 goals as well.
Chapman with possession, cradling it to the Bruins side here. Ooh,
Cooper.
Nice catch.
Cooper with that great speed. He's able to win the faceoff and then subs out immediately. Now Chapman Panthers are working on their side.
Number
That's
4
going
takes
to
a
be
fall.
a goal while falling. Dante Tekolbis with the shot. Could you consider that a trick shot if he was falling down while also getting that goal? Who knows? Very impressive body control, though, as he's getting low to get that right underneath the goalie's legs.
Very much a back and forth situation that's currently taking place here. If Chapman scores one, UCLA make sure that they match that, and then vice versa. And then with the face-off here.
Exactly. We have been seeing that when Chapman scores 2, UCLA answers with 2 of their own. When UCLA scores, Chapman answers with 1 of their own. It's a shootout at the moment.
Chapman with possession.
Go, moving through the middle. William Curtis. And there are a couple sub-ins for the Panthers. It's to Dante Tekolbis. Moving up and setting up at the top, Luke Morissette. Luke Morissette is looking to just let the Panthers get into position first, then decides to take action. He's going to just pass it over. That was Jackson Wells now who has it, who tosses it all the way over to Jack Worth. Jack to Jack.
Trying to find that way in. They're in their territory, but they just can't figure out how to attempt it.
They cannot. As you mentioned, again, it's just not there. That shot is going to be stopped by the Bruins. But putting him in a corner and able to sneak out of it are the Bruins. Daniel Juarez, he's getting taken down as well. This is going to be intercepted off of the rough pass. And he's running down Worth. He's trying to see if he could find a lane, and the Chapman Panthers are just going to have to reset. And there's a flag down. It looks like it's going to be offsides on UCLA. So it'll allow a free shot for the Chapman Panthers.
Starting to get a little more aggressive. We can hear, I don't know if you can hear at home, but the audience is definitely riling up.
As the Bruins coach is still trying to talk to the ref over here, but the Chapman Panthers take advantage of their shot and take the lead. By 2 now. The Chapman Panthers have already had the lead at 5-4, now extending it to 6-4. So after UCLA's 2 goals in a row, the Chapman Panthers answer with 2 of their own. That was Dante with the shot. Again, going low on the goalie. What a shot.
Chapman's up, but by a narrow margin. I think UCLA still has a chance to match them, but we will see how they go at the face-off here.
Yes, with the way UCLA's been playing, a 2-score lead is nothing to say. It's too early to say it's over yet, as they fight for the ground ball, and the Bruins get it. Bouncing off hits, and just resets to the goalie. That's Fox Ashwood for the Bruins. Now moving down the right side for the Bruins. Trying to find a lane, could not. They are on the initial turn. Oh, and it's gonna be knocked out. A great play on the defensive end for the Chapman Panthers. What a job by Dylan.
Cradling it all the way to the Bruins side, and then trying to figure out that way in, passing it to his teammate again.
This is to Beasley, who's just going to reset to Morissette. Morissette seems to be in charge of running the Panthers offense from the top. Able to be a bit of a facilitator. Here he is, trying to find a lane, gets bounced out, decides to reset at the top.
To number 33. Struggling to find that way in. An attempt.
Omund could not.
Lost his stick there.
So much so that he did lose his stick. And the Bruins are moving quick. In the hands of a dangerous player, David Mastro. Already with 2 goals in this game. Good passing from the Bruins. Just tossing it around the field right now, getting a look at the scenery, trying to see where they can slip through. David now takes advantage and shoots again, and he scores! The same amount of goals as his number 3 on the board for David Mastro, as the UCLA Bruins come within 1 at 6-5 now.
Again, no hesitation from UCLA, taking any opportunity they can.
Mastro taking control of this game, keeping the Bruins in it. The Chapman Panthers trying to find that rhythm again. They did have 2 goals in a row, and we have seen them answer those UCLA goals previously. This is turning out to be a shootout, though, to the highest regard.
Oh,
again, another face-off won by UCLA. And already moving down the field into position. Sean Holland, which then leads to them tossing it back to Mac Eisler, who Max.
Now in the, never.
And a sub in immediately, fresh legs for Hayden. Oh, and he loses it. Can't pick up the ground ball. It's all over the field, and it's finally picked up. Still by the Bruins, great positioning by Matthew Anderson, who's gonna get chipped out, and Anderson's shot
Out of bounds.
will go out. Just too much of a flat angle on that shot. But here we go, David Mastro now. Still getting it as the possession time still in the hands of the Bruins with 40 seconds to go. Put a little bit of a move on. Switching hands, David Mastro.
Ooh, struggling to
moving
get out
like
of
a
that
maestro.
X territory.
And we have a call by the ref. It's going to be a timeout by the Bruins.
Really struggling to get out of that X territory. I find that's usually where I've noticed a trend of usually they'll end up in the X and then struggle to find a way out, and either usually they don't.
Yes. Again, one thing to just talk about, very important, is just how well UCLA is playing, especially playing a lot on Chapman's side of the field.
Right.
They definitely have a lot more shot attempts than the Panthers. While the Panthers have been more efficient, in the end, more shot attempts leads to potentially more scores as well.
Right.
As both teams are huddling up. And we go to a couple highlights. Again, David Mastro, 3 goals on the game. And no exception of some very impressive ones. That was the first one. And then a good toss, and Mastro again off of the finishing the assist. It was a great play too by the Chapman Panthers on their side, who were able to make a great couple of plays. They've been doing a very good job of playing low on the goalie and just kind of working around that end of the goal. We saw that last shot. That was Dante who was able to get it.
Doing a fantastic job, both of these teams, making sure that this isn't an easy game and that this isn't going to be predictable.
Yes. The Bruins want this win badly. But it doesn't mean the Chapman Panthers don't either, because they want to keep the win streak going. Here it is. Setting up at the top. Mastro takes a shot. This time it will not go in. A little different than what we've been seeing for the most part. Good toss across the field, finding the open man.
Cradling it into Bruins territory.
Dylan Hartnoff.
Let's give it up on back line 10 to Hartnoff.
Great speed by Hartnoff, who was able to go into the Bruin side.
Is down at midfield.
And we have an offsides, it appears possibly by the Bruins. It's going to allow a free shot for the Panthers. Here we go, trying to take advantage of that. It was Dante's pass there, who gets it to Liam Nelson. Not to be confused with Liam Neeson. Into the middle. Good shot behind the back. That is a trick shot for Dante.
They're celebrating themselves quite an untraditional way
no
to gain a
look
goal.
Between the legs. And the Panthers take advantage of the penalty, the offsides call by UCLA. Look at that shot. Dante's second goal of the game comes in dramatic fashion and extends the Panthers' lead again by 2. He's able to have a little bit of a laugh.
Clearly, he's also a bit surprised at himself.
Sometimes plays like that just happen instinctually, as it did there. Here we go with the face-off. Both players go down. Scooped up by the Panthers.
An aggressive fight for
It's going to be
possession.
an aggressive shot. Will not go. Just a little high for Liam Nelson. Panthers trying to work quick.
Checking in Beasley, checking in Redmond. Checking in 33.
And we have a lot of sub-ins for the Panthers. Josh Roman, worth mentioning, one of those sub-ins. Good tosses. Charles Beasley. Spin move. Beasley loses it. Able to scoop it and toss it. Ooh, a pass. It would have been perfect down the middle, just a little too high. Would have been a great setup if Luke Morstead was able to get that one down. That would have been Elijah Brugman who would have been able to have a chance at a shot.
Checking in 15, Jackson Steven.
Goes back into the Bruins' possession.
Tosses it to his teammate. Cradling it to the Panthers side, or attempting to do so.
As we have approached the final 5 minutes of this quarter. The Bruins moving quick down the side. This is Hayden. Tossing it back. Looking to reset, does not. Send it to David Mastro. Then sends it up at the top. It was Colin Chiang. Tosses that right back to Sean Holland. Sean Holland now looking to put a move on. Can't get around the defense, but he tosses it away. Can they get room there? Max Eisler already has a goal on the day as well. That's a loose ball. That's a ground ball. Still tossed up. And it's going to be a foul call. He gets up quick. Trying to take advantage of the lax coverage by the Bruins at first. And we have a timeout by the Panthers. Allows both players to reset.
Quick recovery after that very intense fight for possession. Making sure that no time was wasted and that he just could do everything he could for his team.
Yes, and a good call as well to make it a timeout. Just slow it down now that the Panthers have possession. They still have almost a full shot clock with 74 seconds to play with. So they have a lot of room to see what's going on. This quarter going a lot slower than the previous quarter as well, due to a lot of stoppages and goals that have happened so far early in this one as well.
Right, there's a full exact 4 minutes left, so plenty of time for Chapman to gain more, or the vice versa for.
And as we look at one of the great saves by Jason Bollinger, who has kind of had a rough game so far against Mastro, who's been playing masterful so far for the UCLA Bruins, keeping him in it. But he gets the better of him there. Bollinger, again, if he starts catching rhythm for the Panthers, this game is going to start getting out of hand if UCLA can't get these scores.
Right. Both teams just recollecting here.
And one thing to always just check out about this Panthers team is after every goal that they get, always check out those sidelines, seeing any celebrations. They talk about how when we were talking with the Panthers, it was just able to see how much they loved those sideline celebrations. They have many different types of showboats as well. They can go from doing push-ups on the field. Everyone just starts lining up and just starts doing push-ups, to a bowling ball type of celebration. They love being able to do that, and they do spend time after practice, they said,
right,
trying to get those celebrations down.
Trying to make opportunities in a stressful game for just a bit of play and fun. Chapman possession, can't find a way through.
Oh! Loses it again, though. This ball is just bouncing all over the place. It stays in bounds, though, and it stays in play. Tried to stay in bounds, could not. Physical play from both sides. Dimitri Meyer there, great play from the Bruins. Is able to give them possession again. Now moving quick. Down the field, splits the defenders. He's got room to work, but we have a whistle. And we have an offsides on the Bruins. It has been hurting them. And possession goes to the Chapman Panthers. Just rough for the Bruins. A lot of offsides penalties that have given them free shots, as well as possession switches.
Just kind of
work around with it. Just trying to see the field at the moment, trying to see who might be able to slip by. He runs up, Luke Morset. This is a shot attempt right there after the pass. That was Charles Beasley's shot attempt. As they pick it up with still time, 44 seconds still on the shot clock. Moving around the end. Can't get around it, though. That was Dante looking for his second goal of the game.
Number 33, trying to work his way around.
Josh Volman.
Can't make it.
Oh, and a shot on goal almost kind of bounced in after Luke Morstead had the shot attempt. Quick, showing speed.
No
Looking
time.
like Wally
wasting
West
no
as he's trying to move
time.
down quick like the Flash. But they reset and the Bruins take advantage of their quick possession and get a goal. The shootout continues 6-7.
This team is wasting absolutely no time and just making sure that they're prioritizing their speed and just going for any shot they can make.
That really started with Nathaniel Kuffner's great speed down the field, and it allowed for a great shot that hit just the bottom of the left.
Again at the face-off.
Reset.
Ooh.
The face-off goes to the Panthers with 1:52 left, and they have a full 80 seconds on their play clock. If they don't lose it here, of course, and they do get it. Good positioning. Camden Morris.
Number 42, just seeing the possibilities.
Gets it to Ben, who's looking for someone and finds them. This is Luke Morstead, who did have a shot on goal, but did not get it earlier. Has had some great assists, though. Jackson Wells now. Shot on goal. It's going to be knocked out immediately. And here we go, the Bruins again. Are they going to try to move quick, or are they going to try to slow it down a little bit? The Panthers don't play aggressive and try to take the ball back. They cannot.
Ball just got away from them, unfortunately.
And here's the speed of the Bruins. Oh, as they lose it, though, the aggressiveness of the Panthers working very well, and that's going to roll out of bounds, so will be the Bruins tossing.
Considering it's been, so now full 50 seconds left, and UCLA has made use of that the previous 4 minutes, and anything can happen despite the short amount of time left.
And we have a stoppage in time. A late timeout. A late timeout with 38 seconds left.
A lot of pausing throughout this game just to reconvene, or my goodness.
Just kind of get a strategy. As it looks like the Bruins, they want to see if they can do something here in the last 38 seconds. It would tie the game in what is a shootout so far. It's 7-6. The Bruins can look to tie it. Possibly could be going in with 14 total goals in the game.
My goodness. And we're just at the second quarter.
Yeah, and we're just at the second quarter. This could lead to a dramatic finish. As we start approaching, the UCLA Bruins so far not backing down from any answers from the Panthers. The biggest lead of the game so far has been the Chapman Panthers, who have had 2-score leads multiple times throughout this game. At 7-5 and as well as 4-2.
Bruins and Panthers starting to return to the field. Let's see if UCLA can do something here, or if even better, if Chapman can manage something.
That's the danger of trying to play aggressive late, is we might possibly see a play that the Bruins did earlier, which is right after defense, just immediately getting quick down the field and able to get a shot off without the Bruins being able to set up their defense. So here we go. As the Bruins are looking for one more shot attempt. Tossing it around. Back to Max Eisler. Already has a couple goals. They lose it. This is going to take a lot of time off the clock. We're now approaching the final 13 seconds. Moving from the top of the key. Firing it out of bounds. David Mastro with the shot attempted. It's going to give possession to the Chapman Panthers, who you can imagine with 5 seconds left are going to just run the clock down. They do take one last heave, and that'll send us to halftime.
It's halftime. Panthers 7, Bruins 6.
As we have the horn sound, and that means the Chapman Panthers will go into halftime with the lead at 7-6 against the UCLA Bruins. A tough shootout matchup that we have so far at Wilson Field, and what should be a great second half.
Quite an aggressive game thus far, and neither team is backing down. They're both trying to do the best they can to just make shoot as many goals, attempt as many goals, seeing if that works out in their favor. But very intense game thus far.
Yes, and it's been a great first half, and we can't wait for the second half. Now we're going to transition to a bit of a package made by one of our own, Nathaniel Rudolph, who's done a great job at CSBN. He has a package here set up for the lacrosse team's head coach, as we have a bit of a setup on that package, so we'll get back to you guys after that.
Whether it is any sport, no team is complete without a coach that can embody their experiences and knowledge into their players. Coach Joel Callis is a first-year head coach for the Chapman Panthers lacrosse team, but Panther blood has been running through his veins for many years before today.
So yeah, I grew up playing lacrosse here in Northern California. I ended up playing at Chapman University from 2003 to 2007. I've been coaching here for the last 7 years, and this is my first year as head coach.
For him, the history of lacrosse is just as important as the game itself.
The history of it is, it's not only a game, but it's also a way of life for a lot of the Native Americans, not only as a medicine game, but as a game, war game as well, to kind of tie in that aspect that, has a healing aspect to it as well.
However, there also is a rich history of men's lacrosse, with their previous coach instilling his foundation into the team.
Because a lot of what he installed here is still in place today. I'd really say what I've improved on is just kind of tweaking the systems a little bit here and there. Not really trying to reinvent the wheel, but just taking the wheel and chiseling it so it's a little bit more round.
Most players throughout the years have already seen Joel as a crucial part of the team.
I think we all had really good relationships with him before. Since we all knew him, it was kind of easy to have his coaching style going. Him and Dallas are very similar in the way they coach on the field, and I think off the field it was just even a closer relationship, going from an assistant coach who's usually really close with the players to now he's our head coach, kind of a player's coach kind of guy. So it was a good time. It was a good time getting a new coach.
Player George McGurk has been with Joel throughout most of his assistant coach career at Chapman, seeing him grow in all his aspects.
Yeah, so Joel's been here, he was here a year before my freshman year, which was back in 2018, so this is his 6th or 7th year now, and I've really watched him grow and develop over the last bunch of years. I think in particular, he's very receptive, he's very open-minded, and very empathetic.
With a fresh new perspective, players enjoy Joel's adaptive coaching style.
I think as a coach, it's important to be versatile with how you're talking to your players, because there's not just one way to coach the entire team. I mean, you could say things to motivate the whole team as a group, but when it comes down to coaching individuality, I think it's really important to be versatile, and Joel's really good at that.
Not only has the leadership on the field improved, but also off the field.
I always try to be there for the players so they know that, look, this isn't not only about the team, but it's more about life as well. So just kind of helping them along and not only becoming better people, but better lacrosse players. That's really what I'm striving to do here as a coach.
With any new adjustment, there are negatives and positives. However, players are only seeing a positive track forward for the whole team.
I think he's built an atmosphere to last. It's not just a one-year thing. It's not like this is just a year off the docket that's good. I think he's built a program that's here to last, that's here to be here for a while, and it's going to be in the national championship run every year, and you're going to be hearing names of Chapman lacrosse players around this school for however long he coaches here.
And welcome back. Oh, man. You know, one thing I did like about the halftime was just seeing that one guy out there with the random T-shirt and shorts just out there shooting on the open goal. He was just getting a little bit in on the action there himself. But we are back.
Making use of that open space on this wonderfully sunny but also cool day as the sun starts to set.
Yes, we will be getting a beautiful sunset for the end of the game. I do hope that guy was 100% from the field, imagining that there was no goalie there. But I wasn't keeping track of all the shots. But we will be transitioning now to the second half where the Chapman Panthers do lead 7-6 in this match, in a very tough matchup, with the UCLA Bruins looking for their 4th win, the Chapman Panthers looking for their 11th.
And getting ready to get back on the field now. Prepping for the face-off here.
Here we go. Now, one thing worth mentioning, we said how the face-off was such a huge advantage to the Panthers usually every game, as it is on that play. But UCLA, for the majority of the game, has been winning their face-offs.
And Panthers with possession now, running over to passing it towards Bruin territory, making sure that they are just trying to find a way in once again.
Yes. Again, it's all very patient game. Lacrosse is trying to find those lanes to slip through. This is Jack Worth, who's just, again, letting his players get into position to find maybe a passing lane or such, as he gets it to the back to Dante, who has 2 goals in this game. Jackson Wells now up at the top.
Attempting to, nope, never mind.
New Straighten just didn't like what he saw. And Dante's going to pass it back. And they keep passing it around to Jackson Wells. Ooh, had a good pass there, and looked like for a second Liam Nelson was trying to get it to Dante, but could not. It's going to switch possession to the Bruins, who are looking to tie and move it quick down the field. Now resetting. David Mastro with the ball. David Mastro, 3 goals for the Bruins, as well as an assist.
Trying to figure out what to do.
He's living up to that key player name that we gave him early on. The Bruins are resetting at the top. Sean Holland. That's Hayden Lechner. He gives it to Mastro. Also with 2 goals on the game, Max Eisler. Gives it to Mastro. Mastro, he's been doing a very good job of weaving around the goal on the backside to get those goals.
Attempted goal, but just out of bounds.
Which, as we were just talking about, those weave around the goals, and we do have a player down.
Oh, goodness.
Unfortunately, or he gets the medical attention right now. Looks to be his foot.
Hopefully we can get some official word on how he's doing soon.
As players take a knee, showing good sportsmanship. It's just really tough sometimes with these injuries. You just gotta hope for the best, as he looks like he's getting up on his own strength. And he does. That's Max Eisler. Again, a huge key piece to UCLA. For the Bruins, hope is that it's not too serious of an injury.
And as all, both opposing and Bruins rise.
Shout out to the training staff from both sides there. UCLA and Chapman's both went out to help him. Able to give him the attention he needs. But he's able to jog off on his own strength. And now the Bruins, still with possession, looking to tie. And Hayden Lechner, now this is 10 seconds left on the shot clock here. They're gonna have to take a deep shot. Oh, and he can't get it. David Mastro tried to get a last second heave there and could not.
Doing the best he could, but not enough with the time constraint.
Just not the angle that Mastro wanted. Now moving down the other side is the Chapman Panthers. Move quick. Oh, Luke could not gather it. But he has to get the ground ball, and he does. Luke Morstead now just resets it at the top to Charles Beasley. Who then gets it to Morstead.
Both goalies have been doing an incredible job, especially in the first half, of making sure that they're doing the best they can to keep the balls out. But let's see if they can keep up to that.
They cannot. They cannot, as you were just mentioning. The Chapman Panthers finally, for Luke Morstead, who's been having a lot of shot attempts in this game, gets one to slip by, and the Chapman Panthers extend their lead to 8-6. The sophomore from Portland, Oregon, standing at 5'10", 170 with a great shot there. Again, that low shot into the corner has been working fantastic for the Panthers.
And then setting up again for the face-off.
Here it is, the score 8-6.
Ooh, bit of a tumble twice.
And the Bruins pick it up. Scores 8-6, 8-6. And here we go, the Bruins. They trying to find their first score of the half, and also trying to prevent this game from getting out of hand. Reset to the middle. Mastro sending it right back to Mastro. The Bruins just keep tossing it around, a bit of ring around the rosy.
Ooh, attempted goal, but just couldn't make it in.
Good saves by the Panthers. Nice play! And they're going to call that out, and for the Panthers. What a job by Dylan Hartnoff. He's been doing a great job this game on the defensive end for the Panthers. Now sending it over the middle. Charles Beasley.
Cradling it, figuring out what to do.
Now gives it back to Luke Morstead, who's been kind of in control of the offensive side of things for the Panthers, the main facilitator, as you would put it. Moving around, spinning it around. He looked like he wanted to get a shot off there. One guy stumbles and falls. It could possibly leave a lane. It does not, though.
A good attempt, but again, these goalies are really doing their job and making sure that none of these balls get past them.
Making it tough angles to shoot for, and that was Fox Ashwood was able to get that. Ooh, a bit of a tip there, and the Panthers will regain possession and moving in a fast break. Rikers, who sends it over to Dante. Dante, as we mentioned, those two goals, one of them being extremely fancy as well. Possession still on the Panthers side. Now going to Shandon, who is getting subbed out. So a couple subs in for the Panthers. Jack Worth subbing in.
Trying to find his way in.
New Stratton. Trying to work his way around. Cannot. Ante DeCopis. Moving to the middle. This looks like it's going to be a shot. It's going to be directly knocked off by the goalie. So it's going to go off of UCLA. And it'll be a reset on the shot clock for the Panthers. Just tried to fire that one in. As you can see, it just bounced a little bit too much because it was sent to the right. Bounced off the pole. Here's Luke Morstead. He's passing that one. It's going to go high. It's a bit of a floater.
Managed to bring it back into... Panthers managed to bring it back into possession and don't need to lose it again.
He tried to bounce around the two defenders but lost the possession of the ball. While doing so, now the Bruins are moving through. He's getting put into a bit of a trap. Two Panthers on. Oh, he weaves around. He does so again.
Passes it further down into Panther territory.
And picked up. No, it is not. This time it will be. The ground ball is going to be picked up by the Panthers, and now they will. Luke just couldn't gather that one, and now it goes back to the Bruins. It's going back and forth here. And the Bruins now trying to slow things down, trying to set up their offense. Max Eisler, as we mentioned, who went down earlier. Luckily, we see him back in. Now that's Kuffner who's sending it back. Kuffner to Matthew Anderson to Colin Shiang. Now Nathaniel Kuffner. Now Kuffner couldn't find anything there. The Bruins unable to find any lanes at the moment. Fires that one. Just a little
Couldn't
too off
make
to the
it.
right.
And out of bounds, but still making sure that they're not wasting any attempts here.
Will stay, as of right now, will stay Bruins possession. It has them now with 29 seconds left on their shot clock. As they move around, trying to find something, anything. Working around the end. David Mastro, 3 goals already.
Behind the goal once again. Now trying to find their way in.
Kuffner can't get around it, gets it to Mastro. Mastro to Eisler, who loses it. Can't be scooped up, but either way, it's a full reset as the shot clock ran out for the Bruins. Now the Panthers are moving quick on the other side. Spin move, gets it around. The Panthers trying to get the goal, but they cannot. A good save by the Bruins. Can they pick up the ground ball? They can. Setting up on the right side. Oh, bit of a
fall.
Rough hit there, but Liam Nelson with the ball for the Panthers.
Trying to find what to do. Passes it further towards the midfield to number 6.
Let's Charles Beasley be the one to reset it. Oh, that one goes really low, and it sets the Panthers up in bad positioning as the Bruins are already moving quick. This is a ground ball, and it's not going to be able to be scooped up by Mastro. They're going to call it out on the Bruins. Panthers now moving quick. Both sides moving especially
Panthers in possession.
quick.
Sprinting towards the goal.
Charles Beasley working around the end. It's going to be a shot attempt. It's going to be grounded in for a score. Charles Beasley with the assist. Elijah Brugman with the shot and the score. The Chapman Panthers extend their lead to 9-6.
And from quite a distance, he makes this goal, which just shows how aggressive these players are being.
As you can see the teardrop celebration right there. He knew he had a shot from distance.
Again from Colorado.
Now 9-6. The Panthers having the only 2 scores of this quarter. A lot less scoring in this quarter overall than the previous as we approach close to the final 5 minutes of the third. Panthers pick it up quick. Jackson Wells moving around. And let's see what the Panthers can try to find. Just not many lanes open at the current moment. That one's going to go high behind. There's a flag on the field. Let's see what the call is.
Lots of pauses throughout this game. It's
extending the time indeed.
We show a penalty. 1 minute 21 is going to source the penalty. Tyler Tomlinson, 1 minute. 6-on-5 opportunity for Chapman.
So it's going to be a 6-on-5 opportunity now for the Panthers as they have to move a man back due to the penalty. So the Panthers, great opportunity here to extend the lead to 10-6 possibly with having more men on their side. Scooping up.
They have the advantage.
Here's the
with
pass.
The man up.
Oh my goodness, what a pass and what a score.
Beautifully,
Morissette now with his second goal as well as an assist.
beautifully done. Able to work around so many players in one area. Made that advantage really worked in their favor of just having more men.
Have yourself a day, Luke Morissette. He has been having himself an incredible game. 2 goals on the day as well as 2 assists. As it looks like the face-off goes into the possession of the Panthers, who are moving quick down the field.
Checking in Worth. Checking in Neustrada.
Back in the midfield area here. Into number 8, just passing it around, trying to see where they can go. Ooh, very quick. Chapman
Morissette,
side.
good pass. Bouncing, try to get another little bit of a bounce ball in, could not though. That was Dante who was looking for his 3rd goal of the game. Dante's had an impressive game as well. Moving around the end, back to Dante.
Just trying to find their way.
Good pass by Dante, and the shot will be too high off the bounce. That was Jackson Wells with the attempted shot.
Doing such a good job. Trying to figure out what to do behind the Bruins goal here. Trying to work around them, but doesn't seem he can.
Trying to bounce around Dante, staying on his feet though. Dante, get low, but he could not score.
Now in Bruin possession.
Dante trying to fight through the physicality. The Bruins now looking for a score in this their first of the half. And the ball is out, and it's recovered by the Panthers. There's a flag as well. And as we await the call on the field.
Although all of these players have been very aggressive, one thing that's been comforting to see is that there has not been any unsportsmanlike conduct, that everything has remained very cordial, and even when with that injury earlier, everyone kneeling and both sides of the team making sure that they, both opposing teams making sure that that player got what they needed. So that's been very, very comforting to see.
Yes, both good sportsmanship by both sides. We've even seen a couple of the players talking to each other in the brief periods where time has stopped just to chat with each other. It's good to see in the sport. As they're moving around, the Bruins down by 4. If they want to mount a comeback, they would probably want to have a score here in this quarter. But it's not looking good as they lose the ball there. Here's a ground ball picked up by the Bruins. And they set up in the middle. Oh, and it's going to be a score for the Bruins.
A very
down
clean,
but not out.
Such a clean goal by the Bruins. Almost kind of mimicking what happened earlier of Chapman just finding that path in, and Bruins making sure that they matched that.
Max Eisler, who went down earlier, luckily was able to get back up, showing his toughness and able to get that goal as well. That might be his 3rd of the game. What a play, what a game. The Bruins still have hope as we approach 2 minutes left in this one. They're trying to ask for a push call, and they get it. So we'll go in Chapman's favor for possession. They're looking to just extend their lead. Charles Beasley is just setting up at the top.
Trying to figure out where to go. Passes it to his teammate. And the same situation, the sort of attempted dance around UCLA, which has not been working out in their favor.
Here is the offense of the Panthers that's just trying to find their lane. Can they do so? No, the shot attempt won't go. That pass is going to go a little too far and out of bounds. Good hustle by Dante, but he could not get there in time. The Bruins now moving quick. They have about 1:40 left in this half. Oh, a little behind the back toss pass, but it doesn't get through. The ball is on the ground. It's picked up by the Bruins. somehow maintaining possession and somehow fighting off everyone, somehow having open room. What a play.
And it bounces
As
out.
Sean Holland, but that pass by Sean Holland unfortunately was just a little too much into the ground.
Man, I've seen a lot of these little sort of skirmishes for the ball here as they try and gain possession, whether it's at the face-off or just in the middle of the play. Both teams are very determined and willing to take advantage of the fact that this is a full contact sport to get possession of the ball.
As Jack Worth is in control of possession with a minute left. He tossed that one over to the middle. Luke Morstedt also looking for his third goal of the game, 2 in this quarter, we might mention, as well as several assists. Working on the right side, to the top, and a shot on goal that will go. The Chapman Panthers extending their lead again by 4. Jack Worth this time.
Picking up speed here, widening that gap between UCLA. Between the two.
What a play. His father also here present at the game from Colorado. So pretty cool moment.
Very sweet.
As the Worth family gets to see his shot and score, extending the Panthers' lead to 11-7. We're approaching the final 40 seconds of this quarter. A great quarter, by the way, for the Chapman Panthers, who went into this quarter leading 7-6, now having to lead 11-7. This has kind of gotten out of hand. There's one more score away from possibly putting the game on ice
And less than 30 seconds. Seeing what they can do in this very small amount of time here. But still not giving up, trying to find a way in.
Chapman
Using their
Panthers.
teammates as well, not letting the distance between them and the goal stop them.
Jackson Waters to Dante. Dante looking for his third of the game, could not. Flag. Looks like there's going to be 2 flags called on the opposing side of where the play happened.
Usually a 1-minute penalty.
It's going to keep possession in Chapman's side with 7 seconds remaining. Hoping for a buzzer beater at this moment.
0.2 seconds to go in the third.
7 seconds to go. You have to wonder if they're going to play conservative or how aggressive they might play. It's going to be in the hands of Liam Nelson.
Seems unlikely, but at the end of the day, the game isn't over till the clock hits 0. So anything can really happen here.
Another score for the Chapman Panthers could just be very soul-shattering for UCLA at this point in time if they extend their lead to 12-7 going into the final quarter. But it looks like they're going to let the clock run, and they're going to take it to the 4th. The Chapman Panthers putting up 4 scores in the quarter, extending their lead to 11-7 in the third. And now Chapman looks like in prime position to get their 11th win of the season. I mean, what a game overall. Just what a quarter from the Chapman Panthers as well.
Right, it's been very back and forth. Neither team has been letting themselves lose, and the goalies have also been really doing their job to make sure that balls don't get past them.
Yes, as we will transition to the sidelines to Josh Feinhurst, who will be down there with some more information.
All right, thank you, Alejandro and Brianna. Down here on the field, actually, we're having some shadows right now as twilight is upon us. As you guys can probably see watching, shadows are closer to the sideline, and throughout the 4th quarter, they will probably only get worse. So that will be interesting to see how that affects the outcome of this game. And something to keep an eye on is Coach Joel told me before the game to keep an eye out on number 12, the attacker for UCLA, Max Eisler. And Max Eisler so far does have 3 goals. He had 2 quick goals in the first quarter. Has kind of been quiet. Had a little bit of an injury scare, but he is okay on that lower leg. But he has come back in and scored again. So it is a close game here, 11-7 through 3 quarters here. We'll see how the 4th quarter goes. Back to you, Alejandro and Brianna.
Thank you, Joshua. As you mentioned, Eisler and also we could say Mastro, for UCLA. Those are the 2 players that have 3 goals. They've been trying to keep the Bruins in this game, but their efforts are for naught at the moment as Chapman just continues to put the score up.
Right, they just keep continuing to match UCLA, and then also making sure that that they're matching.
Yes,
They're
definitely.
matching.
Definitely, as we could show, we're going to show the highlights of the last 2 goals that the Chapman Panthers did have. This really started to extend their lead. So first, Eisner, who was able to get that one, just a little bounce pass coming off of the injury. And this one was just a straight shot down into the goal. What a play by the Chapman Panthers as we now transition to the 4th quarter. Resetting, it's going to be possession for the Panthers to start this 4th quarter. 15 minutes left, and the Panthers could get their 11th win of the season, staying right behind San Diego State. Here's the movement. Good movement as well. Worth mentioning, Luke Morstedt, 2 goals in that previous quarter, not to mention the previous assists that he's had throughout the game as well.
Chapman just sort of dancing around the Bruins here, trying to see any open, attempted goal, but couldn't make it. Any way into the goal that they can make.
Across the field to Luke, down the middle to Dante, who can't get it. Another shot attempt to no avail. That was Liam Nelson. Went off of a Bruin, so it will be a full reset for the Panthers. Still having 80 seconds left on their shot clock. Little bit crowded there in the middle, and it will lead to the Bruins regaining possession. Good aggressiveness, though, by the Panthers, not letting them get down quick. As they toss it to the other side, it's lost. It's picked up. It's shot. It's scored. What a play by the Chapman defense, leading to offense. Liam Nelson to Jackson Wells, and that is a score, and that now extends the lead to 12-7.
They just continue to widen this gap between the 2 teams here. Both teams are aggressive, but I suppose Chapman is more so.
Chapman just so far looking more fundamentally sound as the mistakes for the Bruins just really kind of getting to them.
Right.
And then, of course, with that mistake, UCLA kind of already being down, expecting some offense, was out of position, allowing for that Panther goal, as the Panthers will win the faceoff as well. Now with a 5-score lead, it's almost looking out of reach for the Bruins, especially with the time that the Panthers are going to waste on this possession. Dante moving around to Charles Beasley.
Some communication on the field here, making sure that everyone is on the same page.
Josh Roman working around, back to Dante. Tossing just around. The Chapman Panthers really just running this clock down. They do have a full 80 seconds to run down. They can just continue to take time off of this game as they sit with a comfortable lead. That toss barely getting around the defender, picked up just in time. It's Liam Nelson, the man who previously had the assist on that last play.
That shot clock really just
Dante
not
goes
much time
down
left.
there. It's a bit of a pile. He picks it up. He goes down. The ball's still down. They're kind of called that a push. No, they are. Yes, they are. And that might be one of the worst things that could have happened for the Bruins, as this resets their shot clock to 80. So more time can be run off here from the Panthers, as they can run off another minute and 20 seconds. As they keep moving around, trying to find any avenue. Charles Beasley, who passed that one. He took a shot attempt, could not get it. Foman there, just a little too low. And again, off of a Bruin, so it resets the clock. Another 80 seconds. Can be able to be ticked down for the Panthers. He's going to take another shot attempt. This time it's too high.
Tried to adjust there, but just a little too much.
So Foman, 2 shot attempts. Could not get it. 71 seconds still left in this shot clock. Tried to bounce it, could not.
17 having to go Jackson Wells.
It's still going to be the Panthers' possession with 65 seconds. Down the middle. Vomond again. Third time is not the charm as that one goes high again. My apologies, that was Liam Nelson. So Vomond's actually going to still possibly have his third shot attempt at any moment.
Running towards in Bruin territory, just trying to see what their best course of action for making this goal. Oh, they dropped the ball.
As you can see, both players can't cross that 50-yard line, so no team wanted to get an offsides. So they kind of have to play a little bit of hockey with it. That shot is going to go for a goal. Jack Worth.
Extending that gap even wider.
That might just be the dagger. Extending the score now to 14-7.
Although there is still, we only have so much time left in this final quarter, anything is still possible, you know, so possibly if UCLA can find that motivation and that, and honestly that aggression, they may be able to come back, but it is not likely.
The hat trick for Jack Worth, who's had himself a game. Man, when we talk about players of the game, there's a lot of potential candidates, as that's going to be a trip. Chapman just continuing to pour on the onslaught. They're not lacking any aggression despite their lead. Now with a 6-score lead. And the ref is resetting, blows the whistle, and allows Luke Morstedt to pick it up.
With this game pausing so much, how do you think that could affect either team?
As we get another score here from the Chapman Panthers, I will answer your question in a second, but after I say Liam Nelson finally gets his first goal of the game. Has a lot of shot attempts and been a huge key piece of this offense, but to your point, it's all about rhythm a lot, especially in all sports in general, and especially so in lacrosse. So when you have a lot of clock stoppages, kind of has people just standing around for a quick moment. Just it allows their muscles to maybe even get cold for the brief amount of time, because there have been some long stoppages as well.
Right. Setting up here once again.
So just losing the rhythm. Here's the face-off picked up by the Bruins, the Panthers. Who knows? It's actually going to still be on the ground. This time it's now going to go to the Bruins. Daniel Kuffner, he picked it up, but now he's limping a little off there, and the Bruins are going to have to get a sub in.
Checking in 5, Hayden Leichner.
Max Eisler gives it to the sub, who just came in, Hayden. Playing it over to the opposite side. Back to Eisler, who's over his head and out of bounds. Back into the hands of the Panthers, now approaching the final 10 minutes of this game, where the Panthers have a commanding lead. A 7-score lead, holding half of the Bruins' points at the moment. And here we go, as the Panthers are just now starting to move much slower. Jackson Waters just holding possession as valuable time ticks away for the Bruins, who don't make any move. Gets it to Dante. Dante. This is Alexander Gardner. One of the first times we've seen him on the field. He takes a shot attempt, can't get it. It was scooped up by Dante.
Trying to find his way in. Just again, making that effort to see how they can make it in.
The shot clock reset. So Gardner, Alexander Gardner, Takes another shot attempt and he gets it. They will not stop. Foot on the gas for the Panthers.
Chapman is not slowing down here.
Timeout, and you could just see the energy from the Panthers, who huddle up on the sidelines. This game has gotten out of hand.
A one-sided shootout, and see all that celebration in the replay and on the field even now.
Xander Gardner. We haven't seen much of him this game. He came in majority of the fourth quarter, comes in and already gets a goal himself. And that goes to what we were talking about again with the Panthers, just that that idea of having a deep backup squad, a deep bench, you could say, and also being able to trust that depth that they have on the team, being able to sub in any guy who's able to make an impact and make a play. And it was case in point there in that moment. One thing you just got to talk about too, we mentioned the team camaraderie, and you know, they talk about things that they like to do outside of practice. A lot of them have talked about they meet up at a lot of their friends' houses. A lot of these players, you know, they're kind of seniors and juniors, so they do have off-campus housing, so they're able to meet up at someone's house. A lot of what they talk about was also eating at the dining hall with the boys, as they described it. They do like to meet up after practice, hang out, eat at the dining hall. Then when they usually get showered up, they like to go visit someone's house and go hang out, play video games, whatever it may be.
And activities like that could make or break a team in reality, because when you have those close relationships, collaboration becomes so much easier, and that really shows on the field. And in moments like these, 15-7. Both getting ready.
You gotta wonder what type of games they play. If I'm thinking about games to play, first of all, is moving down. Rikers already has it's done great offensively. If I'm thinking about like games to play amongst the team, first thing that comes to mind is like always the Nintendo games, like Super Smash Brothers.
Mario Kart, perhaps.
Mario Kart, perhaps. Mario Party. Although that one might get a little too intense.
Especially with these players, you're right.
Oh man, I've had some intense moments with Mario Party. It's left me sulking about. Moving around the end. Take another shot off the top post. This shot's going low, and are they going to count it? They are.
Number 14. Gotta wonder how he would play Mario Party.
They don't care that the lead is already up to 8. They just keep moving on.
A senior here from California as well. Not stopping at all.
They are now pushing a possible 10-point lead, as this second half has been all Chapman.
Oh, a messy stumble for possession here. Finally in possession of the Bruins.
Aiden Lechner. Been very quiet for the Bruins today. On the other hand, though, David Mastro was kind of the key piece for the Bruins' early scores in that first half that kept them in the game, but again has been very, as much of the Bruins have been, very quiet
right
in this second half. Mastro still holding on and decides to finally pass it. Here's to Matthew Anderson, who then gets it to Colin Chiang. Anderson. Shot on, off.
Tempted goal, but just couldn't make it there.
Couldn't make it. And now it will stay possession for the Bruins, as Max Eisler is running up. Max cannot get it. And now the Panthers are moving quick down to the Bruins side. Good speed, good top end speed. Dylan Hartnall's pass is just a little off. Dante's going to recover the ground ball, though.
Beautiful recovery there.
I have to ask you in this brief moment where it seems like things are slowing down. Favorite Mario Party character?
I usually don't play Mario Party.
Oh, you don't?
I play Mario Kart.
So who's your main then? Who's the character you go with?
I usually go with Luigi.
Okay.
And his classic kart. You?
Perfect. Dry Bones has always been my guy. I have to say, though, talk about a good movie would be a Luigi Mansion movie. Alexander Gardner Take notes, Nintendo. I'm dropping you ideas right now. It's up to you to pick it up.
Makes you wonder which characters these guys usually go for. No!
And Liam Nelson's pass will lead to a goal. Oh my goodness, with the hit, Alexander Gardner gets the score for the Panthers. This just doesn't stop. When does it end?
It doesn't look like it will anytime soon. They're not slowing down. If anything, this gap just seems to be propelling them further forward, further more.
The white towel will not be thrown in.
No, it will not. Giving them even that motivation that they needed.
I feel like Rocky IV right now, just wanting to shout, throw the damn towel. Oh, in the ground. Oh, a bit of a scuffle. Oh, and it looks like it leads to a couple players being down. And you'd hate to see this. And it looks like a lot of emotion.
Frustration on the field from 23.
From Leander Reichers, who's being told to sub out by the ref. And he goes to take a knee to kind of cool off. He didn't like what he saw there. He didn't like the foul call there.
Big car crash at center stage.
as I like hearing what someone described it, a big car crash there at the midfield. It was indeed just a big pile up. It leads to just a penalty. Now giving the Bruins player advantage. And the Bruins are going to huddle up here with 6:42 left.
I wonder how likely it is that they will be able to come back to even match Chapman at 10 points more. But clearly with this timeout, they're not giving up, trying to find that strategy with such little time left.
At a point like this, you have to wonder if it's more so, again, as you were talking about earlier, you mentioned growth for this team and just trying to see what you can improve on in this final 6 minutes of the game.
Right, and then also just using this for future reference, even if this game doesn't go well towards the end, as we near finals or playoffs, they can just hopefully take whatever they learn within this game and also even in their past games of that. We saw that loss streak. Just taking what they learned to improve in the future.
Definitely, as you could just see the difference in energy between the Panthers huddle and the Bruins huddle. Right now, the Panthers just full of energy and motivation as they know they're about to have their 11th win of the season. That would now make the Panthers have been the two schools from SoCal, USC previously in a 12-11 game, and now UCLA. And here come the Bruins with the advantage in personnel, 6-on-5. Moving it around, just trying to see if they could find some sort of rhythm. A lot of players, too, that we haven't seen all game getting their chance to be in.
Trying to find his way in. Just sort of this dance between the Bruins around the goal here.
Up at the top, Max Eisler could not get it.
Very far over the goal there.
David Mastro is going to toss it over to the far right side. Max Eisler again. Gonna get to Mastro. Mastro trying to take a masterful shot, but could not.
Although
off balance, could not get it.
Valiant effort, although we did see. But again, with these goalies, they're good at their jobs.
Again, we have to talk about Jason Bollinger, who, had a rough first half, allowing 6 goals. Has now only allowed 1 in this second half, and we said if he catches rhythm, it could get out of hand for the Bruins, and it did.
Right. Definitely coming back strong and making sure that those errors he made earlier don't repeat themselves.
As the Panthers move around offensively. Jackson Waters with a good little move. Waters tried to get the shot attempt, could not. Picked up by the Bruins, moving quickly down the field. Good top end speed, caught up a little bit though by 2 Panthers, and now moving to the other side. Matthew Covington. And getting trapped again. And they're going to call that a push on the Panthers.
Very aggressive stop there.
That's another push penalty for Leander Rikers.
Very Rikers is quite.
I know it's never your fault.
As he has to take a knee again. A little upset by the call. He does have himself a goal on the day, as well as a couple penalties as well. But that comes with the aggression lacrosse.
Earns Chapman a man down, I believe.
It does indeed. Now the Bruins have advantage moving through. Again, just trying to look for that second goal of the half. That's Liam Bertrand who loses it. Picked up good.
Intercepted so smoothly here, but one of the Bruins can't quite catch his number.
And it was a good pass there, a little jump pass by the Panthers. Moving around, just trying to see what they can find. This is Jackson Stephen. As we approach now the final 4 minutes and 30 seconds of this game. Just moving it around, just taking in the scenery. Are the Chapman Panthers. Liam Nelson moving it around. Now they move it all the way to the right side. And Jack Worth is taking his time.
Just cradling.
Just cradling the ball.
Doesn't seem to be in a rush here.
Nah, he is not. He noticed the beautiful sunset and decided to take a real stop. And there it is, Dante's pass to the middle. Jackson Wells pass. Got it to Liam Nelson. Liam Nelson's shot is going to go too much to the left and low. We'll get possession to the Bruins. And now we approach the final 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Yeah, you can't imagine a 10-point comeback happening now at this point for the Bruins.
Right. I can only imagine.
As we see a change in formation, as you were just saying.
I imagine if they're disheartened at the moment, but they're not necessarily slowing down as of yet. Still making that effort to do what they can.
Indeed, as Eisler has a good little spin move, tosses it across. Mastro's shot is directly onto the goalie, and what a save again by Bollinger.
Not letting him get. Wow.
He is having himself a second half. That pass, though, from Bollinger is a little too quick. Now the Bruins are moving especially quick. Bollinger, he just wanted to increase his stats. He just wants more shots directed at him.
Really taking note of his errors earlier and making sure they don't repeat themselves, like we said earlier. He's really coming back here strong.
And they will sub out Bollinger. So we have a new goalie for the Chapman Panthers as Bollinger gets a good standing ovation, as he deserves for his play.
Brennan, I believe.
Yes.
Brennan Melton.
Brendan Melton is now in for the Panthers. Brandon Melton seeing some of his first action of the season.
See how he does. Coming from St. John Bosco High School.
Bingo. School known a lot for its high school football.
Right.
Good recovery from the Bruins. Anderson Matthew. Looked like he was trying to be a one-man show for a second. It did not work, though. Matthew can't pick it up. The Panthers can't pick it up. It stays on the ground. It's continuing to be on the ground. They're not going to call any penalty there. It's now resets. It's back on the ground. And the ground ball now picked up by the Panthers, and now with room to work.
26 Elijah Whitman working with Hartnoff. Here comes the big fella at you. Tyler Hill, 88.
Oh, and he stumbles and falls. Looked like a bit of physical contact from behind. I thought that would have been a push, but it was not in the eyes of the ref. Sean Higgins, a new face that we are seeing for the Bruins, and he immediately subs out after that play.
Trying to gauge how how aggressive the Bruins are or aren't with this final 42 seconds on the clock.
So Xiang to Mastro. Mastro, he's looking for another shot attempt. He gets it. And another save. This is his first save of the season. Brennan Melton. So the momentum of the great defensive play for the Panthers continues on to the next goalie as well.
This business major means business, not letting any balls pass him here.
And this is going to be the end as we approach the final 10 seconds. And as the clock runs out, the Panthers get a huge win, 17-7 after a very close first half. The Panthers win in extreme fashion, just with that incredible second half. And now the Chapman Panthers continue their conference record to 4-0.
Wow, and you can see them celebrating here in this beautiful sunset after, again, like you said, a very close first half. Bruins really started strong here.
And what a game it was. I mean, just from that third, you saw right at the start of the third quarter, the way the Panthers came out aggressive and just began to extend that lead. You know, 7-6, and the Panthers go on 8-6, and it went to 9-6. The Bruins then answered, and then after that, it was all Chapman from there on out. And then the fourth quarter was just, at that point, just a little bit of insult to injury per se.
Right. They just refused to slow down despite the very wide margin they had between the two teams. And we're going to actually go to highlights here to kind of look at those moments.
So, Ben, early on, it was Eisler who had a great first quarter. He had the 2 early goals for the Bruins when it looked like the Bruins were meaning business. That one was an impressive shot, but then answering back with the Chapman Panthers as well.
Here again.
It was just, again, the aggressive offense from the Chapman Panthers, and one of those deep shots right there. What really worked again, too, and you'll see it later into the highlights, was the way the Panthers had this kind of shot moving around the end of the goal and being able to fit it into the corner.
Right, and then again, just these sort of dances between UCLA and Chapman.
Dante there.
Trying to find those openings.
Yes, as they keep moving through. And a good shot to the corner. So, unfortunately, it looks like we might not be able to get to the highlight of the big one, but one score worth mentioning was the big one by Dante, who had probably the most impressive goal of the night, which was the underneath the legs right there behind the back.
Right.
Which is a huge score and a big momentum swing for the Panthers. So we have to talk about our MVP now. We could talk about a lot of players in this game, to be honest. There's a lot of players that do stand out in this game. But the one that does stand out the most is Luke Morstedt, who had 2 goals, 2 assists, as well as 3 ground balls by the end of the game.
Right.
So very impressive, doing it all over the field.
He really refused to slow down. We saw his name come up a lot, and he was really just a very critical player to this game today.
Yes, the team MVP and also the team facilitator on the offensive end. And you saw the ball run through Morstedt a lot of the time in the game. And Morstedt, that first goal that he got finally in that third quarter, and then as well as Morstedt's other impressive goal right here off of the great pass and finish. Almost as if they drew it up just like that. Morstedt had himself a day, and not to mention we didn't get to show the assist, but he had some incredible plays and some incredible passes as well.
Right.
So we will now be moving over after we talked about, again, Josh Morstedt. We have to say he's done an incredible job, and you can see the coaches there on the sidelines just having a little bit of a chat, just kind of going over the great win. And now we will be transitioning to our sideline reporter, Josh Feinhurst, who will be able to give us the last report of the game.
All right, everybody. Game just ended here. 17-7 victory for the Chapman Panthers against the UCLA Bruins. Luke Morissette was our CSBN MVP. Unfortunately, we were unable to get him for an interview here. But again, we were able to contain Max Eisler, number 12, to only 3 goals, mostly in the first half as well. We played physical defense just like Coach Joel wanted us to do. A resounding win as Chapman is right now number 7 in the country, and that should potentially go up here with this victory. Everyone stepped up here as well without George McGurk, one of our best players here. And that's all for me today. I've been Joshua Feiners here on the CSBN network. Back to you, Alejandro and Brianna at the desk.
You did an amazing job today. Thank you very much. So again, as he mentioned, without their best player too, it just shows the depth of this Chapman Panthers team in total.
Right.
So we want to mention again, we want to thank you guys for staying tuned with the broadcast. We want to remind you guys this Chapman Panthers team is a club-run organization with players and coaches putting in a lot of their funds themselves to get this team working. So we would, of course, accept any donations out of the kindness of your guys' hearts. Anyone who's a fan of the team, family of the team, or just likes watching Chapman lacrosse overall, any donations would be very much appreciated. These go into team travel as well as equipment and many other things that allow this team to continue running and this program to continue running, as they are now 7th in the country, as previously mentioned, possibly able to go up. So this is a very great time for Chapman Lacrosse, who is looking to make some impact and make their name known across the nation.
Right, so if you're interested in supporting the lacrosse team, you can go ahead and scan that QR code on your screen.
We want to thank you very much, of course, but it has been an incredible matchup tonight. We have a bit of the sunset. It was a perfect way to end the day as the Chapman Panthers do get the big-time win against the UCLA Bruins, now 4-0 in league play. I've been Alejandro Flores alongside my partner,
Brianna Tovar.
And we want to thank you guys again for tuning in, and we hope you guys have an incredible night. Deucios.